What if a frozen moment in a snowstorm could rewrite your entire life? Meet Frankie Sullivan, a 72-year-old Vietnam veteran, trudging through a blinding blizzard in rural Montana, his boots crunching against the icy snow, his heart heavy with years of struggle. On this fateful night, he stumbles upon a strange man, half frozen and desperate, a figure cloaked in mystery. Frankie's act of kindness will unravel a secret so profound it changes everything. A tale of bravery, hidden truths, and a life reborn. Stay tuned, because this story of courage and unexpected redemption will leave you breathless with hope. Frankie's life is a patchwork of hardship, his small cabin on the outskirts of Bozeman barely holding together, its roof sagging under the weight of snow and time. Once a proud soldier, he now scrapes by on a meager pension, his days filled with the creak of his rocking chair and the howl of the wind. The snowstorm rages outside, the worst in decades, its icy fingers clawing at his windows, the air thick with the scent of pine and frost. As Frankie pulls on his old army coat, it patches a map of his past, and heads out to check his generator, unaware that fate is waiting in the storm. Now, step into Frankie's boots, the biting wind stinging your face, the snow blurring your vision. You're a veteran who's lived through war, but this storm feels like a battle of its own, and you spot a man collapsed in the snow, barely alive. Do you risk your own safety to drag him to shelter, knowing you might not make it back in this blizzard? Or do you hesitate, fearing the storm's wrath, hoping someone else might find him? Drop your choice in the comments below, and let's see what you'd do in Frankie's place. While you're there, please subscribe to Daily Narrated Stories. We're racing to 1,000 subscribers, and your support brings us closer to sharing more tales like this, stories of bravery and hope that touch the soul. Hit that button, join our family, and let's uncover Frankie's story together. The Montana blizzard rages with a ferocity Frankie hasn't seen since the monsoons of '68 in Vietnam, the wind howling like a wounded beast, its icy claws tearing at his face, the snowflakes sharp as shrapnel against his weathered skin. The air is thick with the scent of pine, the trees groaning under the weight of the storm, their branches snapping with a crack that echoes like gunfire, a sound that sends a shiver down Frankie's spine, a reminder of battles long past. The sky is a swirling mass of white, the horizon obliterated by the storm's fury, the world reduced to a frozen void where visibility is a memory, where every step is a gamble, where survival is a prayer whispered on every frosted breath. His boots crunch through the knee-deep snow, each step a battle against the cold that seeps through his patched army coat, its faded green a stark contrast to the endless white, its pockets stuffed with a flashlight and a flask of whiskey he hasn't touched in years, a relic of darker days when the bottle was his only comfort, a crutch he leaned on to numb the pain, to silence the ghosts, to forget the screams that still echo in his dreams. Frankie's cabin is a small, sagging structure on the edge of Bozeman, its roof buckling under the snow's weight, its windows rattling in the wind like the chatter of teeth, the faint glow of a lantern inside a beacon in the darkness, a promise of warmth in a world gone cold. The cabin's walls are lined with faded photos, Clara on their wedding day, her smile bright, her eyes full of love, Frankie in his uniform, young and proud, before the war carved its scars into his soul, their son, Tommy, who didn't make it past his first year, his tiny face a memory that still brings tears, a loss that still cuts deep, a wound that never heals, a wound that Frankie carries like a stone in his chest, heavy and cold, a constant reminder of all he's lost, all he's failed to protect. He's lived here alone since Clara passed 5 years ago, her laughter a memory that haunts the empty rooms, her scent, lavender and bread, still lingering in the quilt on his bed, a quilt she'd made with hands that were always warm, always steady, always his, a quilt that wraps him in her love, even now, even in this storm, even in this darkness. His pension barely covers the basics, the VA checks shrinking with every year, forcing him to ration his firewood, his food, his hope. Each day a struggle to keep the cold at bay, to keep the loneliness from swallowing him whole, to keep the ghosts from taking over, the ghosts of Vietnam, of Clara, of Tommy, ghosts that whisper in the wind, that dance in the shadows. that live in the creak of the cabin's floorboards, in the howl of the storm, in the silence of his empty days. He's heading back to the cabin, his flashlight beam cutting through the snow, a weak thread of light in the storm's fury, its battery fading with every step, a metaphor for his own dwindling strength, his own fading hope, his own dimming light. The generator behind the cabin sputters, its hum a faint pulse against the storm's roar, a lifeline that keeps the lantern burning, that keeps the cold at bay, that keeps the darkness from winning, even if just for another night, even if just for another hour, even if just for another moment. Frankie squints through the swirling snow, his breath fogging in the frigid air, his hands trembling as he grips the flashlight, its beam flickering like a dying star, a frail beacon in the blizzard's grip, a beacon that's all he has to guide him, all he has to hold on to, all he has to keep him going. The wind bites at his face, a relentless assault that stings his eyes, that numbs his cheeks, that reminds him of the nights he'd spent in the jungle, his body shivering, his mind racing, his heart praying for dawn, for safety, for home, for a world where the rain wasn't a curtain of death, where the mud wasn't a grave, where the screams weren't a constant echo in his mind, a mind that's never been the same, a mind that's been haunted for decades, a mind that's been his prison, his battlefield, his hell. He's almost at the cabin, the glow of the lantern a faint promise through the snow, a promise of warmth, of safety, of survival, when he spots a dark shape in the drifts, a man, collapsed, his body half buried, his breath shallow, his face pale as the snow around him, a man who's fighting to live, a man who's fighting to survive, a man who's fighting for something Frankie can't yet see, can't yet understand, can't yet name. Frankie freezes, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and duty, the storm's roar a deafening counterpoint to the memories that flood his mind. Vietnam, a wounded soldier in his arms, the rain pouring down, the mud sucking at his boots, the boy's eyes pleading, "Don't leave me, Frankie." A promise he couldn't keep, a failure that's haunted him for decades, a scar that never heals, a wound that throbs with every beat of his heart, a wound that's shaped his life, his choices, his fears, a wound that's kept him isolated, kept him alone, kept him trapped in this cabin, in this storm, in this darkness. The man in the snow is a stranger, his dark coat torn, its fabric shredded by the storm's fury, his face obscured by a scarf that's frozen stiff, its wool crusted with ice, his hands clutching a leather satchel as if it's his lifeline, a satchel that's heavy with secrets, with truths, with a mission Frankie can't yet imagine, can't yet understand, can't yet name. The wind howls louder, the snow swirling like a living thing, a predator that threatens to bury them both, a predator that's hungry, that's relentless, that's unforgiving, and Frankie's breath catches, his flashlight shaking in his grip, its beam flickering as the cold saps its battery, a metaphor for his own dwindling strength, his own fading hope, his own dimming light. He could keep walking, pretend he didn't see, let the storm claim this stranger, let the cold erase his guilt, his responsibility, his fear, let the snow bury the man, bury the memories, bury the ghosts that haunt him, that follow him, that never let him go. But the soldier in him, the man who swore to never leave a comrade behind, won't let him, can't let him, even if this man is no comrade, even if the storm is a battle he might not win, even if the cold is a foe he might not defeat, even if the ghosts are a burden he might not bear, even if the darkness is a weight he might not carry, even if the hope is a light he might not find. Frankie kneels beside the man, the snow soaking through his jeans, the cold biting into his knees, its icy grip a reminder of the nights he'd spent in the jungle, his body shivering, his mind racing, his heart praying for dawn, for safety, for home, for a world where the rain wasn't a curtain of death, where the mud wasn't a grave, where the screams weren't a constant echo in his mind. His hands tremble as he brushes the snow from the stranger's face, revealing a man in his 50s, his features sharp, his eyes closed, his lips blue with cold, a faint pulse at his neck a whisper of life. A thread Frankie clings to like a lifeline, a thread that pulls him back to the present, to this moment, to this man, to this storm, to this chance, to this hope. "Hold on, buddy," Frankie mutters, his voice rough with emotion, the words a promise, a prayer, a plea, a vow he's made before, a vow he's broken before, a vow he's determined to keep this time, even if it costs him, even if it breaks him, even if it changes him, even if it saves him. He slings the man's arm over his shoulder, the stranger's body limp, his breath shallow, his weight a burden Frankie bears with a soldier's resolve, a resolve that's kept him alive through war, through loss, through years of struggle, a resolve that refuses to break, even now, even in this storm, even with his own strength fading, his own body aching, his own heart heavy with doubt, with fear, with the ghosts that whisper in the wind, that dance in the snow, that live in the shadows of his mind. The satchel slips to the ground, its leather icy against the snow, its weight surprising, its contents a mystery that tugs at Frankie's curiosity, a mystery that whispers of secrets, of danger, of a life beyond this storm, a life he can't yet see, can't yet imagine, can't yet name. He grabs it, the leather cold against his palm, its clasp undone, a glimpse of papers inside, papers that hold secrets, papers that hold truths, papers that hold a future Frankie can't yet see, can't yet understand, can't yet name. The trek back to the cabin is a battle against the storm, each step a fight against the wind that pushes him back, that screams in his ears, that threatens to tear him apart, the snow that pulls at his legs, that clings to his boots, that weighs him down, the cold that seeps into his bones, that numbs his fingers, that freezes his breath, a cold that reminds him of the nights he'd spent in the jungle, his body shivering, his mind racing, his heart praying for dawn, for safety, for home, for a world where the rain wasn't a curtain of death, where the mud wasn't a grave, where the screams weren't a constant echo in his mind, a mind that's never been the same, a mind that's been haunted for decades, a mind that's been his prison, his battlefield, his hell. The stranger's weight is heavy on Frankie's shoulder, his body limp, his breath shallow, a burden that Frankie bears with a soldier's resolve, a resolve that's kept him alive through war, through loss, through years of struggle, a resolve that refuses to break, even now, even in this storm, even with his own strength fading, his own body aching, his own heart heavy with doubt, with fear, with the ghosts that whisper in the wind, that dance in the snow, that live in the shadows of his mind. The wind howls louder, a banshee's wail that drowns out everything, that fills the world with its fury, that threatens to swallow them whole, a fury that Frankie fights with every step, with every breath, with every heartbeat, a fury that he's faced before, in the jungles of Vietnam, in the years of loss, in the nights of loneliness, a fury that he's survived before, that he'll survive again, that he'll survive for this man, for this moment, for this chance, for this hope. His flashlight flickers, its beam fading, a dying star in the storm's darkness, a star that Frankie clings to, that he follows, that he uses to guide him, even as the cold saps its battery, even as the storm saps his strength, even as the ghosts sap his hope, even as the darkness saps his light. He stumbles, his boot catching on a hidden root, the snow giving way beneath him, and he falls to his knees, the stranger's weight pulling him down, the satchel slipping from his grip, its contents spilling onto the snow, papers fluttering like wounded birds, papers that hold secrets, papers that hold truths, papers that hold a future Frankie can't yet see, can't yet understand, can't yet name. He scrambles to gather the papers, his hands trembling, the snow soaking through his gloves, the cold biting into his fingers, the wind tearing at the pages, threatening to steal them, to bury them, to erase them, a threat that Frankie fights with a desperation he hasn't felt since Vietnam, a desperation that drives him, that fuels him, that keeps him going, even as the storm fights back, even as the cold fights back, even as the ghosts fight back, even as the darkness fights back. He stuffs the papers back into the satchel, his hands shaking, his breath ragged, his heart pounding, the satchel a lifeline, a mystery, a promise of a future, a promise of a truth, a promise of a hope that Frankie clings to, that he fights for, that he lives for, even in this storm, even in this darkness, even in this moment. He stands, his knees aching, his body trembling, his breath fogging in the frigid air, and slings the stranger's arm over his shoulder again. the satchel in his other hand, its weight a burden, its secrets a mystery, its truths a hope that drives him forward, that pulls him forward, that keeps him going, even as the storm rages, even as the cold bites, even as the ghosts whisper, even as the darkness looms. The cabin looms ahead, its faint glow a beacon in the darkness, a promise of warmth, of safety, of survival, a promise that Frankie clings to, that he fights for, that he lives for, even as the storm fights back, even as the cold fights back, even as the ghosts fight back, even as the darkness fights back. He kicks the door open, the wood creaking in protest, the warmth of the cabin a stark contrast to the storm's fury, the scent of pine and smoke enveloping him like a warm embrace, a reminder of Clara, of home, of love, a reminder that he's made it, that he's survived, that he's saved this man, even if he doesn't know who he is, even if he doesn't know what secrets he carries, even if he doesn't know what this night will bring. He lays the stranger on the floor by the wood stove, the fire's glow casting shadows on the man's pale face, the heat a lifeline that Frankie stokes with trembling hands, the crackle of the flames a counterpoint to the storm's howl, a sound that fills the cabin with a fragile hope, a fragile promise, a fragile peace, a peace that Frankie clings to, that he offers to this man, that he hopes will be enough, even if he doesn't know who he is, even if he doesn't know what secrets he carries, even if he doesn't know what this night will bring. He peels off the man's soaked coat, the fabric heavy with snow, its dark wool torn at the seams, revealing a suit beneath, its quality a stark contrast to Frankie's own patched clothes, a hint of a life far removed from this cabin, this storm, this moment, a life that Frankie can't yet imagine, can't yet understand, can't yet name. The man's satchel lies beside him, its leather scratched, its clasp undone, a glimpse of papers inside, papers that Frankie doesn't touch, papers that whisper of secrets, of danger, of a truth that will change everything, a truth that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it. He wraps the man in a blanket. It's wool scratchy but warm, the same blanket Clara used to wrap around him on cold nights. It sent a faint echo of her lavender perfume, a memory that brings tears to his eyes, a memory that gives him strength, a memory that reminds him of why he's here, why he's fighting, why he's saving this man, even if he doesn't know who he is, even if he doesn't know what secrets he carries, even if he doesn't know what this night will bring. He stokes the fire, the flames crackling, the heat a lifeline that keeps the cold at bay, that keeps the darkness at bay, that keeps the ghosts at bay, a lifeline that he clings to, that he offers to this man, that he hopes will be enough, even if he doesn't know who he is, even if he doesn't know what secrets he carries, even if he doesn't know what this night will bring. The man stirs, his eyes fluttering open, their gray depths sharp with a clarity that belies his condition, a clarity that speaks of a mind that's seen too much, a mind that carries too much, a mind that holds secrets Frankie can't yet imagine, can't yet understand, can't yet name. Where am I? He rasps, his voice hoarse, his breath shallow, his hands clutching the blanket, his eyes darting around the cabin, searching for threats, for safety, for answers, his movements tense, his body coiled. A man who survived more than this storm, a man who survived more than Frankie can imagine, a man who survived because of secrets, because of truths, because of a mission that Frankie can't yet see, can't yet understand, can't yet name. You're safe, Frankie says, his voice steady despite the storm in his heart, his hands steady as he pours water from a kettle, the steam rising like a ghost, the scent of boiled water a faint comfort in the cabin's warmth, a comfort that Frankie clings to, that he offers to this man, that he hopes will be enough, even if he doesn't know who he is, even if he doesn't know what secrets he carries, even if he doesn't know what this night will bring. I found you in the snow. You're in my cabin, near Bozeman. What's your name? The man hesitates, his eyes narrowing, a flicker of suspicion in their depths, a flicker of fear, a flicker of a secret he's not ready to share, a secret that hangs in the air like the storm outside, a secret that threatens to change everything, a secret that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it, even if he can't understand it, even if he can't imagine it. John Carter, he says finally, his voice low, his words careful, his eyes searching Frankie's, looking for trust, for safety, for a reason to speak, to share, to reveal, a reason to let go of the fear, to let go of the suspicion, to let go of the secrets, a reason to believe, to hope, to live. Frankie nods, his own eyes steady, his own heart racing, his own mind spinning with questions, with doubts, with a need to know, to understand, to help, a need that drives him, that fuels him, that keeps him going, even in this storm, even in this darkness, even in this moment. I'm Frankie Sullivan, he says, his voice a soldier's promise, a veteran's vow, a man's hope, a hope that Frankie clings to, that he offers to this man, that he hopes will be enough, even if he doesn't know who he is, even if he doesn't know what secrets he carries, even if he doesn't know what this night will bring. John sips the water, his hands trembling, the mug shaking in his grip, the steam rising like a prayer for warmth, for safety, for survival, a prayer that Frankie echoes in his heart, a prayer that Clara would have whispered, a prayer that keeps him going, even now, even in this storm, even with this stranger, even with the secrets that lie between them, a prayer that speaks of hope, of love, of a future that Frankie can't yet see, can't yet understand, can't yet name. Thank you, John says, his voice stronger now, his eyes meeting Frankie's, a flicker of gratitude in their depths, a flicker of trust, a flicker of a truth that's waiting to be revealed, a truth that will change everything, a truth that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it, even if he can't understand it, even if he can't imagine it. The storm rages on, the wind howling like a chorus of ghosts, the snow piling against the windows, a white wall that blocks out the world, that traps them in this moment, that holds them in this cabin, this sanctuary, this crucible where secrets will be revealed, where lives will be changed, where hope will be born, a crucible that Frankie feels in his bones, in his heart, in his soul, a crucible that he's ready to face. Even if he doesn't know what it holds, even if he doesn't know what it means, even if he doesn't know what it will bring. Frankie stokes the fire, the flames crackling, the heat a lifeline that keeps the cold at bay, that keeps the darkness at bay, that keeps the ghosts at bay, a lifeline that he clings to, that he offers to John, that he hopes will be enough, even if he doesn't know who he is, even if he doesn't know what secrets he carries, even if he doesn't know what this night will bring, a lifeline that speaks of hope, of love, of a future that Frankie can't yet see, can't yet understand, can't yet name. Hours pass, the storm unrelenting, the wind a constant howl, the snow a constant threat, the cabin a constant sanctuary, a fragile bubble of warmth in a world gone cold, a bubble that holds two men, two soldiers, two stories, two lives that are about to collide, about to change, about to find hope in the unlikeliest of places, in the unlikeliest of moments, in the unlikeliest of storms. John grows stronger, his color returning, his breath steadying, his eyes sharpening. A man who survived more than this storm. A man who survived more than Frankie can imagine. A man who survived because of secrets, because of truths, because of a mission that Frankie can't yet see, can't yet understand, can't yet name. A mission that's about to change everything. A mission that's about to rewrite everything. A mission that's about to offer everything. I owe you my life, John says finally, his voice steady now, his eyes meeting Frankie's, a truth in their depths, a truth that's ready to be revealed, a truth that will change everything, a truth that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it, even if he can't understand it, even if he can't imagine it. And I owe you the truth. I'm not just John Carter. I'm a federal agent, working undercover, a man who spent years risking everything to expose a corruption ring that reaches the highest levels, a ring that threatens lives, that threatens peace, that threatens the world, a ring that I've been fighting to stop, even if it meant losing everything, even if it meant dying in this storm, even if it meant failing, even if it meant the secrets would die with me. That satchel, it contains classified documents, evidence of a corruption ring that reaches the highest levels, evidence that could save lives, that could stop a war, that could change the world, evidence that I was on my way to deliver when my car broke down, when the storm hit, when I thought I'd die out there, when I thought I'd fail, when I thought the secrets would die with me." Frankie's eyes widen, his heart racing, his mind spinning with the weight of John's words, with the weight of the secrets, with the weight of the truth, a truth that's bigger than this cabin, bigger than this storm, bigger than his life, a truth that changes everything, that rewrites everything, that offers everything, a truth that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it, even if he can't understand it, even if he can't imagine it. You're saying you're some kind of spy?" he asks, his voice a mix of awe and disbelief, his hands trembling now, not from the cold, but from the weight of the moment, from the weight of the truth, from the weight of the hope that's starting to bloom, even in this storm, even in this darkness, even in this cabin, a hope that speaks of a future, a hope that speaks of a purpose, a hope that speaks of a life that Frankie never thought he'd have, never thought he'd deserve, never thought he'd find. John nods, his eyes steady, his voice firm, a soldier's resolve in every word, a spy's determination in every breath, a man's hope in every heartbeat, a hope that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it, even if he can't understand it, even if he can't imagine it. "I've been working on this case for years, risking everything to expose the truth, to stop the corruption, to save lives, to stop a war, to change the world, a world that's been broken, a world that's been lost, a world that's been waiting for a hero like you, Frankie, a hero who didn't know he was a hero who saved me, who saved the mission, who saved the world, even if he didn't know it, even if he didn't see it, even if he didn't name it. I was supposed to meet my contact tonight, but the storm, it nearly killed me, nearly ended everything, nearly buried the truth, the secrets, the hope, the future, a future that you've given me, that you've given the world, that you've given yourself, even if you didn't know it, even if you didn't see it, even if you didn't name it. You saved me, Frankie. You saved the mission. You saved more than you can imagine, more than you can see, more than you can name." He reaches for the satchel, his hands steady now, his eyes sharp, his movements precise. A man who survived because of secrets, because of truths, because of a mission. A man who's ready to share, to reveal, to change everything. A man who's ready to give Frankie a future, a purpose, a hope that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it, even if he can't understand it, even if he can't imagine it. He pulls a letter from the satchel, its paper crisp despite the storm, its seal official, its contents a secret that will change everything, a secret that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it, even if he can't understand it, even if he can't imagine it. "This is for you," John says, his voice steady, his eyes warm, a gratitude in their depths, a gratitude that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it, even if he can't understand it, even if he can't imagine it. It's a commendation from the highest levels, a recognition of your bravery, of your service, of your heart, a recognition that you've been awarded for saving me, for saving the mission, for saving the world, even if you didn't know it, even if you didn't see it, even if you didn't name it. There's a reward, too, a fund to help veterans like you, to help you rebuild, to help you live the life you deserve, a life of warmth, a life of hope, a life of love, a life that Clara would be proud of, a life that Tommy would smile at, a life that you've earned, even if you didn't know it, even if you didn't see it, even if you didn't name it. Frankie's hands shake as he takes the letter, the paper trembling in his grip, the words blurring through the tears that well in his eyes, tears of disbelief, of gratitude, of hope, tears that speak of a life changed, of a future reborn, of a past redeemed, a past that's been heavy with guilt, with loss, with struggle, a past that's now light with hope, with love, with possibility, a past that's now a bridge to a future that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it, even if he can't understand it, even if he can't imagine it. The storm outside begins to ease, the wind softening, the snow slowing, the world emerging from the darkness, a world that's new, a world that's bright, a world that's full of hope, a hope that Frankie can feel, even if he can't see it, even if he can't name it, even if he can't understand it, even if he can't imagine it. A hope that speaks of a future, a hope that speaks of a purpose, a hope that speaks of a life. A life that Frankie never thought he'd have, never thought he'd deserve, never thought he'd find. The snowstorm fades, but the warmth of Frankie's act of bravery lingers, a light that illuminates a life once shrouded in struggle. His small cabin, once a symbol of hardship, now stands as a testament to the power of kindness, of courage, of the unexpected connections that can change everything. Frankie, a poor veteran who thought his best days were behind him, has found a new beginning, a new purpose, a new hope, all because he chose to help a stranger in the snow, a stranger who carried secrets that rewrote his story, that gave him a future, that gave him a legacy. This tale reminds us that even in the coldest moments, in the darkest storms, we can find warmth, we can find light, we can find each other, and in doing so, we can change the world, one act of kindness at a time. Frankie's journey isn't just his. It's a mirror for us all, reflecting the resilience that lives in the smallest acts of courage, the power of reaching out, of standing firm, of loving through the storm. His story shows us that hope can bloom in the unlikeliest of places, that forgiveness of ourselves, of our past, can lead to redemption, that a single moment of bravery can ripple into a lifetime of joy. So think about a time when you helped a stranger, when you took a risk, when you found hope in the storm. How did it change you? Drop your story in the comments. We're building a community of courage at Daily Narrated Stories, and your voice matters in this circle of care. With the reward, Frankie rebuilds his cabin, turning it into a haven for veterans, a place where they can find warmth, support, and healing. A legacy that honors Clara, that honors his past, that honors the future. He and John remain friends, their bond a testament to the power of that snowy night, a bond that reminds us all of the strength we find in each other. At Daily Narrated Stories, we live for tales like these, stories of hope and bravery that light up the dark, reminding us that even in our coldest moments, we can find warmth, we can find home. Don't let this be the end. Subscribe now, time's ticking, and our next story's waiting, a tale of courage you won't want to miss. Hit that bell, join us before the chance slips away, and let's keep the fire of these life-changing narratives burning bright. Your click could be the spark that gets us to 1,000 subscribers. Do it for Frankie, for John, for the stories still waiting to be told. This is your moment. Don't let it drift away.